3 weeks into the F1 spring break and I've begun referring to pedestrians as the midfield. Welcome back to the Chinese Grand Prix edition of One Lap Recap. 1 lap of the circuit, 1 race's worth of chaos, and me trying to talk fast enough to make it all fit. Down to turn 1 in Shanghai and history is already being made. Antonelli becomes the youngest driver ever to take pole position, and McLaren becomes the first team this season to retire both cars before the formation lap. 2 separate issues, 1 shared disappointment. Lights out and it's deja vu for Ferrari. Another rocket launch from both cars, but this time Antonelli doesn't sink like a stone, instead snatching P2 straight back from Leclerc while Hamilton leads the way. Verstappen on the other hand loses 6 places off the start, and Hadjar is being badgered by Behrman. That is until Hadjar spins off with the same issue that sent Verstappen into the wall in Australia quali. Behrman somehow avoids T-boning Hadjar by millimetres, which is miraculous considering he was fully committed to a move. Perez and Bottas come together, leaving the side of Perez's car looking like an open can of sardines. Antonelli retakes the lead on lap 2, with his teammate slotting in behind him 2 laps later. Mercedes 1-2 restored, at least for now. Lap 10, enter Aston Martin. Expectations were in the ground after testing, they brought a shovel to Australia and they've kept digging all the way to China as Stroll parks it just off track. Safety car, strategy chaos, pit stops everywhere. Somewhere later in the race, Alonso is seen driving down the straight with both hands off the wheel just to give his fingers a break from the Aston Martin vibrations. Perfectly normal behaviour. Safety car comes in and suddenly Colapinto, who didn't score a single point last year, is running P2 and fighting Hamilton. The Alpine wasn't there for long, but it was fun while it lasted. Then the Ferraris begin their custody battle for P2, battling for lap after lap, with Leclerc coming onto the radio to say how much fun he's having. A complete 180 from the sprint. Behind them, Russell is stuck watching the whole thing like a man trapped behind slow walkers in a supermarket aisle. He finally takes P2 at the end of lap 29, but the gap to Antonelli is huge. It would take a monster drive to close it. Ocon and Colapinto then attempt synchronised spinning, making contact and pirouetting out of contention. Heartbreak for Colapinto after his P2 cameo, but it was nice to see Ocon put his hands up and take responsibility. Verstappen has quietly done about 3 races worth of work by this point. Terrible start, fights back, gets shuffled again in the safety car pit cycle, claws back up to P7, and then retires 10 laps from the end. What an emotional rollercoaster. Antonelli has a huge lock-up near the end, but he's far enough ahead to secure his first ever Grand Prix win ahead of Russell and Hamilton taking his first podium in red. And to top it all off, Antonelli is introduced on the podium as Kimi Raikkonen. Thank you for watching and follow me for the Japanese Grand Prix recap.